Wait for a few people to trickle in here. That's all good. Tweeted out the link. Man, I hate making lineups on chalk weekend, but at the same time, it's kind of fun. Throw this on here. Oh. My stuff going here. Optimal lineup, according to my projections today, actually doesn't include Larson, which, he's probably going to be chalk this week, but it does include Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Kevin Harvick, Justin Haley, and Corey LaJoy. Oops. Which, obviously Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick are ultimate chalk plays today. And you kind of, I think I wrote in my article, like, I'd recommend kind of going with the field on ownership there. I'm projecting Elliott around 39% and Harvick over 50%. Harvick's definitely the one that's easier to fit into lineups because of his price. He has a little bit better track history here, but Chase Elliott, that car's running faster than the 4 car is. So, as I said, though, like, I think a good pivot off of Chase at a $300 discount is Denny Hammond starting 22nd, because before he had that issue I think he had it in qualifying. That car definitely had speed. That car had great speed last week at Dover, which is a somewhat comparable track to Darlington. Another thing we have to pay attention to or keep in mind today is tires. We saw 2 tire issues in practice yesterday, and no one even made a super long run. So how tires are going to come in to play this week? Like, are we going to see major tire issues today? And we certainly could, because it's Darlington and this track eats tires. But, best 15 lap average was Larson. Hamlin was right there with him speed-wise. Briscoe was 3rd, Kurt Busch, Martin Truex Jr. So Toyotas look to have good long-run speed, which is what it's going to take to have a good race here at Darlington. Tire management and having good long-run speed. Definitely think, Corey LaJoy is the chalk down below. I think he's going to be super high owned. Probably, I haven't projected for about 30%, but at 4,900, like, I feel like you just have to eat that chalk, especially because he's not the only way he's going to like really kill your lineup is if he wrecks on lap 1, which Darlington's a really good track for LaJoy. So I don't necessarily see that happening. And I like Justin Haley down there too at 5,900. I think I wrote him up in my article. Actually, I'm pretty sure I did. So pull that up real quick. If you haven't checked out RotoDoc, his article is very similar to mine. We're kind of thinking the exact same today. He also did a tweet, and it's linked linked in my article. But he did a tweet at drivers that are, significantly better, or their performance at Darlington compared to their normal track performance. So Eric Jones, not surprisingly, is top of the list. Significantly better. Kyle Larson, same thing. Kurt Busch is up there, and then Corey LaJoy. So the 4 drivers that are very much better than normal at Darlington specifically are those 4, while Ryan Blaney, Stenhouse, Christopher Bell, and Bubba Wallace and Suarez are worse here than normal. So seen a lot of talk today about, Stenhouse starting 26th, Cole Custer starting 28th. I'm honestly not really getting there very much on those 2. As far as Stenhouse, I'd rather pivot up to Buescher, just because there's so much other chalk. Like, differentiate yourself somewhere else. if you're going to eat the Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick chalk, which I'm finding it very difficult not to eat the Kevin Harvick chalk. He doesn't have to. He just basically is going to have to not wreck to hit value, and that's one thing that makes these weeks irritating. But at the same time, if I'm being super aggressive, I'll just go like 100% Harvick or something like that, and try to differentiate myself in the lineups elsewhere. Someone like a Kurt Busch. I really like Kurt Busch today, or my projections do, or even a Chris Buescher there. And then like loading up top. One guy that I haven't paid a ton of attention to that has pretty good history here at Darlington is William Byron. He did scrape the wall, I think, in qualifying or practice. And, obviously he has speed like Hendrick. Hendrick has plenty of speed, so there's no reason that Byron won't be up there. So I think Byron can go overlooked today. Just depends on what kind of dominator points he's going to put up. Can he get up there and lead and put up fastest laps to pay off that $10,100? I don't particularly think so, but I think he's a decent pivot. If you are looking to get off the, Hamlin or Kyle Busch, not chalk, because I don't think Kyle Busch is going to be super high owned today, but I think Byron, decent pivot option, small pivot. I'm going to go ahead and lock this lineup in quick just because it's my optimal according to the projections. And Justin Haley. Please rank all back markers Castle down, and if you would play them. Corey LaJoie is number one. This is going to sound bad, but I don't even know who's in what car. Let me check this out real quick. Like, Darlington's not really a race to play back markers, but it could be a decent today could be a decent opportunity to do that, just depending on how the rest of your build. Like if you have a great build first 5 and then your last, you have less than $4,900 where you can't get LaJoie, then I can see playing a Yaley or McLeod. The only way McLeod's moving up is if there's wrecks, which there could be plenty of carnage today with the tires. And then Cody Ware starts a little bit higher up. So I'd probably go LaJoie is by far not even close number one. Give me let me pull up. So at Auto Club, Cody Ware was the slowest car on green flag speed. 77 was ahead of the 15. At Vegas, 77 ahead of the 15. Cody Ware was 32nd. And then at Dover, 15, like I don't know how that 15 had so much speed last week, so I'm just going to kind of not pay attention to that. Because Ryan Preece was in that car and it had ridiculous speed. But Cody Ware, yeah, I'd probably go LaJoie is definitely number one. Give me LaJoie. And man, Probably Castle second, then Ware. Then no. I don't know. These are all so tough. Like it's just going to depend on how much cap you have left. I'd say these three are tied: Yaley, McLeod, and Ware. You're just hoping for attrition there. But LaJoy is definitely the number one there. But if you have enough money to get Castle, I'd just go straight to LaJoy. Safest is McLeod, but you're hoping for Rex. So yeah, it's probably it's LaJoy, Castle, McLeod, Yaley, Ware is probably how I'd do it. But Ware definitely has the best car. So that's where it's kind of tough because if five big name cars wreck out or have tire issues, then Cody Ware finishes mid-20s. Like obviously he's going to be solid at 4,500. So, but LaJoy is definitely number one. Thoughts on Logano this week? I'm not getting on Logano. I'll take my chances there. Not a like Penske cars do not dominate, and with Kyle Larson starting up there, with Truex starting up there, with Kyle Busch starting up there, I mean, even Chastain is starting 8th. I have a hard time seeing Logano finishing top 5 today. I think he's going to lead the opening however many laps, 30 laps. I actually have him projected for about 50 laps led today and 19 fastest laps. And even then, I'm not getting there on Logano. He's above average at Darlington, but he's not a dominator. And just starting on the pole, I'd rather go elsewhere for sure. Hemrick and okay play in the Colleague 16. Where's he even starting? I don't like that he's starting 24th. I'm so focused on Justin Haley there at 59. It's definitely like Haley, I think, is going to come in. I have him projected at 18% owned, and then I have Hemrick at 10%. I mean, so Hemrick was like Auto Club. Hemrick was 28th in green flag speed. Justin Haley was 22nd. Vegas, Hemrick was 33rd in green flag speed. I think he had an issue that race. Justin Haley was 23rd. And then at Dover, the 16 Allmendinger was 14th in green flag speed. He had an issue, didn't he? Because he finished 33rd. So I think that's why that's bumped up a little bit. But and then Justin Haley was 16th. So essentially, I would say Justin Haley has had a faster car in all similar races this year. So I think Hemrick is a decent pivot option. But if you're giving me the option of Justin Haley, Daniel Hemrick, I'm going to go to Haley significantly more than I am Hemrick. But I don't think Hemrick, like I don't hate Hemrick. I'm just not getting there. Hamlin, I wrote up Hamlin in my article, actually. I think he's a great pivot off of Chase. You're getting Denny Hamlin starting 22nd. I mean, he has to go to the back because of the issue. But you're getting Denny Hamlin starting 22nd from Chase Elliott, a $300 discount at Hamlin's best track. This is probably Hamlin's best track, if not, one of the best. And with how much like Denny Hamlin had the best car last week, and it wasn't even close. So when when you when there's similarities between Dover and Darlington a week after each other, he just had the best car. Like Denny Hamlin can win this race. And it's not very often that I'm high on Hamlin in DFS. Like if you know me, if you follow me, you know that I talk shit about Denny Hamlin all the time and I like to see him fail. But I know for a fact I'm going to be overweight on Denny Hamlin today. Because I haven't projected for like 15% ownership less than Chase Elliott. So let me flip those, because Chase Elliott has the place differential upside more than Hamlin, but Hamlin has the higher dominator upside because this is just like an average track for Chase Elliott, whereas Denny Hamlin is quite a bit better at Darlington than he is at a normal racetrack. So I really like Denny Hamlin this weekend. I can I can go back a little bit. Thoughts on Chastain today and what's your confidence level for Hamlin versus Kyle Busch and Truex? I'm strictly looking for stage point. What are you playing where you're getting stage points? I really like Chastain today. I think he can win this race. I think he can definitely run top 5. What's your confidence level for Hamlin versus Kyle Busch and Truex? They're all so close on speed for me. I am going to. I think Truex. I'd probably put Truex number 1. And then Kyle Busch. I think they're all very close. It's like 1A, 1B, and 1C. But I'd probably go Truex, Kyle Busch, Hamlin in that order as far as speed. And plus, like Truex is just so good at this racetrack. And he had a great car at Dover last week as well. I mean, all 3 of these guys did. Over underweight on Logano, Larson, Elliott, Harvick, Hamlin. I'd go underweight on Logano. Not super underweight. Like I haven't projected for about 20% ownership. I'd probably go 15, maybe a little bit less than that. Larson, I'm okay with going slightly overweight. Projected 40% ownership. I don't mind going 50 on Larson. This is such a good track for him. He keep having in the back of my mind how not like every week this year he's been disappointing fantasy purposes. But if Kyle Larson's gonna and Rotodoc and I talked about this on the podcast this week, if Kyle Larson's going to have a typical Kyle Larson race, this is going to be the week that it happens. So definitely like having solid Larson ownership, which I think everybody's going to have him. And something like a qualifying tournament, I'd probably go off of Larson, because it's win or nothing there. And I'd definitely eat the Harvick chalk and maybe pivot off of Chase Elliott to Hamlin for in a situation like that. For Elliott, if he's at 40%, I want to be at a little under 30. So underweight on Elliott. Harvick, I don't mind. I actually don't mind going overweight on because it's so easy to build lineup. Like I know that's eating the chalk, and that's not the type of DFS player I am, but that's how I am this week. You could pivot up to Reddick, but I don't see Reddick getting there as much as I do Harvick. And then Hamlin, I like being overweight on Hamlin today. 5, 18, 1, 7. So what? You got Larson, Kyle Busch, Chastain, Busher, Stenhouse. And is that supposed to be 21? I don't think you can fit Haley in there. That is a little. I mean, you're really hoping that Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick all have issues. It's certainly possible. You have three dominator potentials there with Rowdy and Larson and Chastain, but I'm maybe I don't know. I think that might be just a little bit too aggressive of a lineup there, and that's coming from someone that likes to play really aggressive on this. Busch is questionable because he could miss the race due to his wife having a baby. So Trevor Bayne's on stand. Obviously, if Kyle Busch leaves before the race, like don't play Kyle Busch, don't play Trevor Bayne. Trevor Bayne's not good. He's not going to be good in that car. And then if you do play Kyle Busch today, just hope he doesn't get out of the car. Hope he goes through and just finishes it out. Because, no disrespect to Trevor Bayne, but he's not going to put up the points that we need out of Kyle Busch. So just hope that she doesn't start having her baby. Or his wife's not having the baby. They have a surrogate, but Sean, my projections really like Kurt Busch. Like you run 150 lineups today just using my projections, and it's throwing Kurt Busch in there almost a third of the time. So let me I'm just going to use this optimizer quick to run some Kurt Busch lines and see what it comes out with instead of doing it by hand. But yeah, I really like Kurt Busch. I mean, it's a great track for him. Nobody's going to be on him because he's starts sixth, but I really like that play. So the top lineup that it spits out with is Larson, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch. It's throwing Cindric in there. My projections also like Cindric quite a bit, and then coming down to LaJoy. I'd probably, to try to get off that Cindric, there's just not too much more you can go. Like there's not much value here unless you're going down to like Busch or let me see. I feel like I had a Kurt Busch line that I made earlier that I really liked. See, because I'd probably come down off a Chase and go down to, let's see what it does with Chastain, and then get off a Cindric and go. Could you go Chase Briscoe? Like that's, and you could also go like you could go Larson, Chastain, Harvick, Kurt Busch, Briscoe, LaJoy. That also gives you the cap to go up to Kyle Busch. So you could go Larson, Kyle Busch, Harvick, Kurt Busch, Briscoe, LaJoy. If you like Briscoe, that is, I don't mind that type of build over the Chase Elliott build. But if you're trying to stay chalky, but then have I talk about minor pivots. Staying with Chase Elliott, and I just don't really trust Austin Cindric a ton this week. And I have no reason for that. Just one of those, like, no history here. Where was Cindric at in these similar races? So Auto Club, Cindric was 8th, finished 12th. In green flag speed, Cindric was 22nd at Vegas. And then Cindric was 26th at Dover, but he had issues early. Yeah. I think I like this kind of build better with Briscoe. Than Briscoe's third and 15 lap average in practice. So it's kind of why I like Briscoe. If you don't, 13th is kind of a weird starting spot. You could always come down off of Briscoe here and go Keselowski. I actually don't hate Keselowski today. Buescher was really strong last year on high wear tracks. Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing is going or has more speed than I think we're kind of used to. So, you go Larson here. I mean, this opens the door if you don't even want to go Larson. You take Larson off, hit Chase Elliott, and then you could get Truex. So you go Elliott, Truex, Harvick, Kurt Busch, Keselowski, or you could stay with Larson and then roll with Kyle Busch, Chastain, or Byron. I'd probably go Chastain in that scenario. Leaves $400 on the table, but yeah, and then like I said, you can go and roll Briscoe. Yeah, I think Briscoe's definitely a sneaky play today. Like, definitely showed speed in practice. He was right there with Larson in 10 lap average. 5 lap average. Yeah, I like Briscoe as well. I'm actually gonna enter this lineup here: Larson, Stain, Harvick, Briscoe, Kurt Busch, and LaJoy. Most green flag passes, Chase Elliott. Yeah, I feel like he's had a lot of issues at Darlington, especially late, and but I mean he's good here. It's just whether he's worth the 10,600. I feel like he needs to get dominator points to hit that 10,600. I still like rolling, pivoting off of Elliott and going Hamlin and Truex and some of these other guys, Kyle Busch, Chastain, and stuffing those guys and trying to get, like a 3 dominator lineup and not relying so heavily on place differential with Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott's still a great play. Like, Chase Elliott is my highest projected driver today, but I think there's an opportunity there to go, elsewhere. If you play Bowman, would you pair him with at least one teammate? Bowman, I haven't given a lot of thought to Bowman this week, which is kind of typical. There's only certain weeks that I'm really high on Bowman. 11th at Auto Club and Green Flag Speed. He was 5th at Vegas, and last week he was 5th at Dover. Darlington is not a super great track for Alex Bowman. He was good here in 2020. He also started top 4 in 2 of those races, so that helped a little bit. But let me see. Let me run this optimizer with Alex Bowman in it, or forcing Alex Bowman in it, because I don't think. Let me see how many lineups. So, like, I run 150 lineups with this optimizer. I'm curious to see how many it spits out with Bowman on it, just using my projections and my projections only. It's taken a while for him to even show up. Is he even going to show up here? I know you guys can't see my screen, or see my I'm using the Fantasy Labs optimizer. Yeah, he's not even showing up running 150 lines. So let's force him in and see what that looks like. But yeah, if like to answer your question, if you're running an Alex Bowman line, I think you're relying on Hendrick's speed, and yeah, like at least one teammate, because you could fit Larson and Elliott in there. So force Bowman. So yeah, it's similar to, and I'm not liking this. So the top line that it's spitting out for forcing Alex Bowman in is Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Kevin Harvick, Bowman, Haley, and LaJoy. To me, there's not enough dominator there. Leaves 500 on the table. And then the second highest that it's spitting out is the same thing except Larson instead of Elliott. Which I think I like that one better because you're getting the two Doms with Larson and Chastain. Potential, sneaky play, sneaky top 5, sneaky race win steal with Bowman. Harvick's your place differential play, and then Haley and LaJoy, I think, are just chalk, down below. Cindric dropped off. The hard thing with, yes, we need to definitely look at practice speeds. And that's another reason I'm not super high on Logano this week, is because he did fall off a ton on his 15 lap run. But yeah, my projections are, not many people fell off that much. So I feel like Cindric's, I don't think it's going to be that bad in the actual race that Cindric's going to drop off a half a tenth in 5 laps. Yeah, I'm not high on Bowman this week. I'm not getting to him. Can't figure out how to finish off a Larson, Chase, Harvick, LaJoy lineup. So Larson, Chase, Harvick, LaJoy. Honestly, I'd just throw in Haley and nope. What am I thinking here? Harvick, Larson. Ooh. I think I did Larson. Let me check my notes here. Larson. If you don't want to double dip way down and you have, a tiny inkling of confidence when it comes to Harrison Burton, maybe being able to stay on the lead lap and do something, I don't mind going Reddick, Burton to finish that lineup off. You could also, if you want to go down and do 2 punts, I don't really consider LaJoy a punt, but go Castle and Chastain. I don't really hate that, and I'm pretty sure. Let me run the optimizer quick with those first 4 guys locked in. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to spit out as the top. Harvick, LaJoy. It's actually throwing out Cody Ware instead of Castle, which, I mean, when you're, like I said, when you're going down there, it's it is what it is. Elliott Harvick Larson. Another one that the Castle one is the third highest projected, and it's barely behind the one with Ware. The second highest, again, like Cindric's popping up quite a bit with my projections. But another one that it's spitting out with, starting Larson, Elliott, Harvick, LaJoie is Kurt Busch and Cindric. Which I really actually don't hate if you believe Cindric's going to be decent. That's another lineup that you like. You're eating the chalk, but then you're differentiating yourself with Kurt Busch and Cindric for sure. If you don't like Cindric, I still like Chris Buescher here. Come down to Chris Buescher. Don't mind that play. Do a Larson, Elliott, Harvick, LaJoie, Kurt Busch, Buescher. But in all honesty, I'd probably go Castle, Chastain, or Yaley McLeod or Ware and Kyle Busch, depending on who you liked more. My projections have Kyle Busch and Chastain pretty much neck and neck, so I am gonna just throw this one in though. Like Castle's not. I know Castle's not good, but you kind of just need him to not be awful. Larson, Chastain, Harvick, Elliott. Any love for Gilly Gang this weekend? Not really. Just because I'm so high on LaJoie. Like Gillen, yeah. Team's not running well right now. I mean, this could be the week that he finally performs and is that surprise. He did have decent speed in practice. 7th best in 15 lap average. Where was he at in 10 lap average? Way down there. But I mean, going from it seems like Gillen definitely didn't fire off as fast, but I like that there was only 0.2 of a second fall off from his 5 to 15 lap average. That's actually pretty damn solid. For comparison, Truex fell off 0.4. Bowman fell off 0.8. Hamlin fell off 0.4. And Larson fell off 0.6. So maybe we should do a Gillen lineup here. Lock that one in and go. Purple and green scheme. I honestly don't know. I haven't paid attention to much of the paint schemes this week. I didn't even realize Truex is running auto owners till someone tweeted me about it the other day. So I don't know. Purple and green. I'm looking through the sponsors right now just to see. Bowman might be, if he has any green on there, because Ally is purple. Hamlin. You know, there's purple and green in FedEx. And then like Cody Ware might have, I think that Nurtec car is purple, but he's obviously not going to win the race. Let's throw so let's do Chase Elliott. Yeah, Hamlin's about to yeah. If a quote unquote purple and green car is going to win today, it could be Hamlin. Chase Elliott. Let's go Kyle Busch, Chastain, Harvick, Haley, and LaJoy. Don't mind a build like this. You know, you could obviously come down and grab Hamlin. Like I said, Hamlin off of Chase. That gives you an extra $500 if you wanted to jump up and grab Gilliland instead of LaJoy. Get off that chalk. Don't hate that. You could also stay on LaJoy, go up to Cole Custer or Daniel Hemrick off of Haley. But honestly, I'm probably, I'd be inclined to stay on LaJoy there. And 93. Wishing there was like not enough cap here to get up and go to Truex unless you didn't want to go Hamlin. So I'm actually going to lock this lineup in real quick. Go Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Chastain, Harvick, Haley LaJoy. So we talked about top lineup according to my projections for today being, the Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Kevin Harvick, Haley, LaJoy lineup. I am going to lock in the same one, but with Hemrick, just to have that pivot. And then second highest, I can't really, as a like that's your lowest price driver is Stenhouse as a last piece, or are you just like using? I'm not sure I can get behind Stenhouse today, just because that team has been so bad this year. But I understand the upside. He starts 26th. He was very fast at Auto Club. That's also a really good track for him. Vegas Stenhouse was 17th in green flag speed, and then last week he was very fast at Dover. I get why people are on Stenhouse this week. I'm just not really getting there. But definitely need to have exposure. When I ran my 150, just use my projections and ran 150 lineups, it's putting Stenhouse in at about 20% for what that's worth. So I get why people are on Stenhouse today. Let's see what kind of lineup if I force Stenhouse in. So it's going Larson. Obviously, it's going to go Larson, Elliott, Harvick on pretty much all of these. Larson, Elliott, Harvick, Buescher, and Justin Haley. So that's getting you off the LaJoy chalk. And then if you came down, so just looking at this lineup as is, you basically have you're hoping for a Larson absolute domination here. Certainly possible, but if you want to get off Chase Elliott, come down to let's go down to let's Chastain gives you an extra 1,000 to then you could get off of Buescher and go up to Keselowski. That'd kind of be where my mind goes to be a little different. So you're getting Larson, Chastain as dominators, and you're hoping that those are your two doms today. I mean, you don't have to say, but what's the rest of your lineup look like? I'm curious where you're getting Stenhouse as your cheapest. It's certainly possible. I kind of want to know where you're at. Another one. So I'm not trying to figure out here. If you got off of Larson, off of Kez, and you went, you could stay take Haley off and come down and grab the LaJoy chalk. You stayed Larson. Oh, that's not going to get you there. Grab. I don't want to be there either. That's a tough. This is tough. Even jumping down to where there isn't going to get you up to Hamlin or Truex. It'll get you to Hamlin. But then, what's the chances that Kyle Busch or Chastain are the early dominators and not Kyle Larson? If you go with something like that. You're still only looking like I'm going to lock this in just for the hell of it. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Harvick, Stenhouse, and Ware. If I forget that thought. All right, so you're doing Harvick, Elliott, Chastain, Busch, Stenhouse. The problem here that I think it's a decent tournament lineup, but where's I feel like there's not enough dominator upside here going. Like Kurt Busch possibly could dominate, but I wouldn't say it's anywhere likely. Chastain's probably going to take him a while to get up there and dominate if he does. And then you got the place differential plays of Harvick and Elliott. So a lineup like this, what you most likely need to happen is Harvick or the dominator, like the main dominator early on and for most of the race, you need them to then wreck like midway through the race to essentially wipe out those dominator points. That would be the ideal situation with going for a build like this. So if you do want to go with the build like this, like I said, I don't hate it. I'd probably take Chase Elliott off and come down to Truex. Is what I would do. Try to get a second early dominator in there other than Chastain. and maybe Kurt Busch. Like I said, I like the Kurt Busch play. I know there's a comment in there about, Cindric. I like the Kurt Busch play more than Cindric, but yeah, I'd probably come off the Elliott chalk, grab Truex, and hope that Truex is an early dominator, or jump down and grab Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch could be there too. That gives you an extra $700 to work with if you wanted to, if you. I'd leave you an extra $700. If you wanted to then get off Kurt Busch and go up to Keselowski, you could, or you could, but that's probably what I'd do. I'd get off the Elliott chalk there, go for a secondary early mid dominator if you're going with a build like that. And I like where your mind's at. That's just kind of where I'm going. Like, that's a very good tournament mindset right there, is a lineup like that. I just think you need the extra dominator, or you need the other potential dominator in there. Will Kyle be lower owned due to, yes. I think Kyle Busch is going to go a lot lower owned than he should be today, because of the questionable tag, because that's going to drive away casual players. And then just like the possibility that he could leave mid race, that's going to drive away even the sharpest players. Got Chastain right underneath him. If you're not doubling up on Chastain, Kyle Busch, you're probably going Chastain for those extra 3 place differential spots, and they probably both have similar dominator potential. So yeah, I think Kyle Busch is going to go. I haven't projected at 19-20% ownership today. Definitely think I'd recommend being higher than that on Kyle Busch, and I think he could actually come in mid-teens as opposed to like the 19% that I have projected. By the way, everyone in here, if you haven't gotten in the private DraftKings contest, make sure you do. I don't know how full it is. I haven't looked, but 100 spots open. Tweeting out this link real quick for this live stream. I haven't made a Truex lineup yet, so let's do that. Zero reason to play Bane, so why did they add him? Because people are dumb. Even if he doesn't, he's gonna get like a small amount of ownership just because he's on there, and people are dumb. And yeah, if he actually starts, he's probably gonna get. He won't get significant ownership, but he'll probably get like 5%, I'd say. It's just, more power to you. It's not going to work out though. I'd put all my money on it. So let's do a. So I got Truex projected, right there with Hamlin, 4th highest for today's race. Top projected lineup with Martin Truex Jr. is Truex, Elliott, Chastain, Harvick, Justin Haley, and Cody Ware. You need an extra $400 to get up to LaJoy with that, which means you could go. Oh, you can't even go Hamlin. Oh, I would really like that lineup if you could go Hamlin. So you'd have to come off of Haley and go with someone like if you're keeping this build, you'd have to come off of Haley, go with someone like a Harrison Burton or a Todd Gilliland. But honestly, I'd rather go like give me Truex, Hamlin. You could go Chastain, Kyle Busch. Like it's so have Chastain slightly projected higher. He's also going to be higher ownership. So maybe go the JGR train here and go Truex, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Harvick, Justin Haley, Cody Ware. It's uncomfortable playing Cody Ware. I don't like it. I'm going to roll Chastain and then screw it. I'm actually going to do a Hemrick Ware. Man. So Hamlin, Truex, Chastain, Harvick, Hemrick, Cody Ware. Man. Lock that one in. Who'd you bet to get most fastest laps today? Obvious pick would be Kyle Larson. I think Truex is going to be up there. I think Kyle Busch is going to be up there. Ross Chastain should get a good chunk. But I think Kyle Larson is definitely the favorite to get the most fastest laps. Corey LaJoie of the week, absolutely. This is a great track for Corey LaJoie. This is he's starting 30th. He's underpriced. Like it sucks because there's so much chalk this week, but I have LaJoie projected for 30% ownership, and I don't mind going significantly higher than that because it's so building LaJoie lineups is super easy this week. And there's no good, you're not going to pivot off of him to a back marker. The only way that works out is if LaJoie wrecks, which is certainly possible. Like he could wreck, he could have a tire issue, but the majority of the time, LaJoie is going to be the top scorer in this price range. So give me LaJoie significant amount of times, and if he wrecks, he wrecks. If that kills my week, it kills my week. But this is definitely Corey LaJoie week. Hear anything about Wayne Byron? Yeah, he smacked the wall in qualifying, and I think the broadcast was making a little bit bigger deal about it than it really was. Like I know Byer was really concerned about that, but I feel like if Byron was going to go to the back, we would have heard it by now. And I'm checking Pockrace's feed right now. In like an hour ago, he said garage isn't open yet, except for teams that had issues yesterday, as they will have to go through tech soon. So if they were going to do anything to Byron's car, like I feel like we would have heard it by now. So I don't think Byron's going to go to the back. Of course, that could be one of those, late breaking. But I'm not super high on Byron today either. Like the price tag sucks. I'd rather go Kyle Busch. I'd rather go Chastain. I'd rather go Hamlin. Like I'd rather go Truex. Like I don't think Byron gets there today. Top 3 leverage plays either direction. Hamlin over Chase. I think Kyle Busch. I don't think Kyle Busch is going to be super high owned today. And then let me pull up my I think Hamlin over Trace, and Truex, like Truex and Hamlin. I think I'm high on JGR. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Hamlin, Truex, Kyle Busch, I think are all big opportunities to be overweight compared to Larson, Elliott, and even Chastain. I think Larson, Elliott, Chastain are going to be higher owned than Kyle Busch, Hamlin, Truex. And if they brought the same, like if they have the same speed as last week, this could be a JGR show today at Darlington. Another, like I'm going through here on my projection. Why, honestly, like I'm not hating the Daniel Hemrick play anymore. I've kind of been convinced of that through this stream. I don't want to say that one though. So probably like a Busher over a Stenhouse. I like being on Busher more there. But yeah, JGR for sure. Let's do I wonder what like a Larson Truex line is gonna look like. So you go Larson, and I'm just plugging Harvick in so much here because like I said, like I'm eating the chalk and just going with it. Not super happy about it, but that's the week we're at. You go LaJoy. Go Briscoe, you could come up and get Stenhouse. Got Larson, Truex, Harvick, Briscoe, Stenhouse, LaJoy. I don't think I hate that very much, to be honest with you. Could also come off of, okay, I'm going to lock this in and then I'm going to do the exact same type of lineup. So Larson, Truex, Harvick, Briscoe, Stenhouse, LaJoy. And then if you do Larson, Hamlin, Harvick, Briscoe, Busher, LaJoy. Really hoping for a Larson domination, Larson and Truex domination in those two lines. I still like. I'm really liking the Chastain, Kyle Busch, Harvick core. That is my favorite core to run today. Is Chastain, Kyle Busch, Harvick all in the same lineup? You can fit in Hamlin, you can fit in Truex, you can fit in Larson if you want. You can even fit in Elliott. I mean, obviously you can fit in Elliott, but actually, can you fit in Larson? I don't know if you can fit in Larson. I'll check that in a second. Update that. And got to update my spreadsheet here. Chris Busher for Stenhouse, and then over Truex. Yeah, so I really like Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Kevin Harvick. If you did want to throw Larson on there, throw in Corey LaJoy, and then you could go Harrison Burton, you could go Todd Gilliland, depending on what you want to do there. Let's go Todd Gilliland here, and then throw it. Ooh, Larson, Chastain, Larson, Hamlin, Chastain, Harvick, LaJoy, Gilliland. I don't mind that. Don't mind that one bit. Larson, Hamlin, Chastain, Harvick, Joy, and there's a Gilly gang. lineup. Curious what my projections say at the top lineup when you throw or force in Gilligang. Forcing in Gilligang, and it save that one quick. Top lineup it's spitting out is actually Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, Kevin Harvick, Gilliland, and LaJoy. Leaves you an extra. It's basically the exact same thing I just built, just with Elliott over Larson, because I have Elliott projected for about 1.5 points higher. And then, yeah, this Gill and Harvick, Chastain. Yeah, and then you could also go Truex instead of Hamlin. Elliott, Truex, Chastain. You could also go Kyle Busch here. I like that. I'm gonna throw that one in as well. Elliott, Truex, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Todd Gilliland, and Corey LaJoy. So there's Todd Gilliland at. Thoughts on Byron as a pivot off of Chastain? I'm just not getting there with Byron. I'd rather go Kyle Busch. If you're going to pivot off of Chastain, I'd rather go Kyle Busch. Or like I said, I'd rather combine Kyle Busch, Chastain in a similar line. I can't quite get there with Byron today. So the one we just did was Elliott, Truex, Kyle Busch, Harvick, LaJoy, and Gilliland. Let's kind of just play with this a little bit. If you want to get off of the Elliott chalk and go down to Hamlin, gives you an extra $300. I'm still liking this, Larson Hamlin. I'm gonna lock that in too, just because I have the same one, but with Truex. I'm just gonna get another one with Hamlin there. No, keep Hamlin, and then what did I just do? I think I forgot to mark one down here. To throw Larson in there, Hamlin, Chastain, Harvick, and you could go Kyle Busch here as well. I don't mind Kyle Busch. LaJoy and Gilliland. Upside line. Larson, Jones. Stenhouse, Harvick. Hammer, Chastain. Or Haley, Kyle Busch. Jones is definitely, definitely a tournament line there. Like Eric Jones is not going to be, if he cracks 10% ownership today, I'll be really surprised. Or LaJoy, and yeah, you don't even have to, like, if you wanted to come down to LaJoy, that gives you plenty of room to do whatever you want here. I'm still liking the Haley, and then either Kyle Busch or Chastain. So I'm going to go Kyle Busch here. So Larson, Kyle Busch, Harvick, Stenhouse. Ethan Haley, Eric Jones. Thoughts on Blaney? Sucks here, but was fast. Practice has been all year. Was he fast in practice? Second and 10 lap average. I still wouldn't play Ryan Blaney. That bit me last week too hard, playing Blaney. He's not great at high wear tracks overall. And just, yeah, I'm not there on Blaney at all. I'd be very surprised if I have any Blaney today. You take my projections and you run 150 lineups, and there's not a single Ryan Blaney lineup that it spits out. So, yeah. Enjoy your lunch. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck later on during the race. All right. Let's go Truex, Hamlin, Chastain, Harvick. Almost got there. If Larson leads 200 laps, yeah, I mean, even if he leads 200 laps, 50 laps lead points, you can pretty much guarantee he's going to get 50, depending on how green it goes. But if he leads 200 laps, he's probably getting 50 plus fastest laps. Even if he wrecks and finishes 25th by the end of it, he's still going to end up in the optimal if he puts up numbers like that. Which, by the way, Larson is the Jordan jinx this week, but he's so good here, and he has good car. There's not a lot to dislike about Larson today. I am going to do a Larson. Like I said, I'm really liking my core here of going Kyle Busch, Chastain, Harvick, and doing a Larson hit LaJoy. I don't know if I can trust Harrison Burton. Take Kyle Busch off of here and go Denny Hamlin, and then go Todd Gilliland. Did I do this one before? Larson, Hamlin, Chastain, Harvick. Yes, I did. Yep. Austin Dillon, Doc Block, Jordan, Kyle Larson, Jordan Jinx. Which Austin Dillon, where's he even? What's he even? I feel like he's 8,500 for Austin Dillon today. Nope. with this line going, that's something like going Truex, Kyle Busch, Elliott, and Harvick. Two early dominators in the chalk. See what some of my other competition caution, lap 30. I actually haven't seen that. Yeah, competition caution's on lap 30. Thoughts on Bell? Starting third. I can't get there. Cannot get there. I mean, he's not good at Darlington. I don't think I can get there. Clearly, I'm not even, close so far with the builds. So let's do a Larson Truex line. I don't. We've done one of those. I feel like you have to double punt if you're going that route, but it allows you could come up and grab Truex, Larson, Truex, Hamlin, Harvick, LaJoy, Ware. I don't like Cody Ware, but like I said, I think we could see quite a bit of tire issues today. So if Cody Ware just does not have a tire issue and does not wreck, and he moves up to 28th, gets 3 place differential points, he gets the 28 finish points for $4,500, and it allows you to stack Larson, Truex, Hamlin, Harvick into a line. I don't particularly hate it. Again, it's not comfortable going Cody Ware, but he's definitely has the most speed out of the back markers. So if there's a ton of attrition, he's and if he doesn't have any issues, he's going to be the one that is most likely to finish mid 20s. So I'm going to roll with this one. Throw that in there and, kind of stacking these higher priced, higher projected drivers. Going to do a Truex, Kyle Busch, Chastain, Harvick, Joy, Truex, Kyle Busch, Chastain. Huh. I haven't landed on this lineup yet. Give me, let's do Truex, Chastain, Kyle Busch, Harvick, LaJoy, Hemrick. And turn around and do the same thing with with Haley. So Truex, Kyle Busch, Chastain, Harvick, Justin Haley, and LaJoy. Lock that one in. Got 4 lineups left. If anybody has any suggestions on where to start with, looking at my ownership so far for these that I've built on here. I'm at 100% Harvick, 80% LaJoy, 69% Chastain, 50% Harvick, 50% Larson, 50% Kyle Busch, 43% Hamlin, 37% Truex, and then 25% Elliott. Yeah, Doc, I'll show you. I have one Kurt Busch line so far. It's Larson, Chastain, Harvick, Kurt Busch, Chase Briscoe, and LaJoy. What are your thoughts on that, sir? Briscoe's one of those this week that I'm not really like it. Yeah. So that's the first that was the Kurt Busch line I came up with before. Yeah. My projections really like Kurt Busch today. You run like just running base projections 150. Kurt Busch is at 32%, which I haven't projected ownership at 13. So projections really like Kurt Busch today. And I mean, at $7,300, like nobody's going to be on Kurt Busch because he starts 6th. The $7,300 price tag kind of sucks, but he's really good here. So I like being. I don't like being at 30% on Kyle Busch today or Kurt Busch, but definitely like being overweight on him. Build a base Jones lineup. So first, I'm going to pull up the one we just did, that Doc helped with. It was Larson, Kyle Busch, Harvick. Eric Jones. Where are we at here? Stenhouse and Haley. And then you could, I mean, if you didn't want to go Kyle Busch, you could also go Chastain there. I definitely like that. But I mean, you like something like this, you're relying on the Larson Chastain or Larson Kyle Busch dominator points. You could also go, I don't want to get too much Hemrick in here. But I also like you could pivot to Haley off of or pivot to Hemrick off of Haley there if you go Chastain over Kyle Busch. If you wanted to. I really like Haley though. Wrote him up. Larson, Hamlin, Harvick. Kurt Busch, Jones. LaJoy. That can, yeah. I don't mind that at all. early dominator of Larson. Maybe Kurt Busch gets up there and maybe leads some laps, gets some fastest laps, and then Hamlin. I think we're definitely looking at Hamlin at being a second half kind of play this week, but definitely like being overweight on Dennis. So, yeah, I'm not getting there on Stenhouse today. Like I obviously have 4 lineups with him, but like my high dollar lines, I doubt I'm going to get to Stenhouse. I'm going to throw this lineup in though. Eric Jones, Busch and LaJoy. I actually think something like this, I was like when I was playing around with lineups before qualifying and everything, I think this was one that I definitely liked. That's true. Stenhouse definitely has major upside today. I feel like I'm always Stenhouse is one of those that I'm always underweight on. Valid point. Yeah, and that's 7th and green flag speed at Auto Club. Yeah. Yeah. Hard to argue against those numbers. At 6,700, yeah. Reddick feels like he'll be sub 15%, yet could run top 5, grab fastest laps with his talent for running the wall. Hard price to fit. You like Reddick. I actually have a couple Reddick lines built that I was just messing around with earlier. Larson, Hamlin, Reddick, Harvick, Haley, and LaJoy. Definitely see there's upside there for Reddick. There's no doubt. There always is. 3rd and 10 lap average in practice. I actually am going to enter this lineup. Hamlin, Reddick, Harvick, Haley, LaJoy. One lineup left, and I'm gonna look at what my top projected lineup forcing Reddick is. It's doing Chastain, Elliott, Harvick, Busch, or LaJoy. Which obviously, like, you could come down and grab Stenhouse there. I have Buescher project like a 1.5 higher than Stenhouse. Stenhouse has some like higher place differential, but I trust Buescher more. So, and then the second highest lineup forcing in Reddick would be. This is pure upside here with this one. Reddick, Elliott, Hamlin, Harvick, Haley, and LaJoy. I think that's one of those lineups that is going to need the dominator to have issues after dominating. could also, you could go, if you didn't want to go Hamlin, you could try to get an early dominator there with Truex. But you could also do, how about this one? Is that ownership for Stenhouse? Projected ownership? I'm at 21. Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick, Kevin Harvick, Stenhouse, LaJoy. There was an extra 100 there, so you could jump up and grab Larson. But you could come down and grab Truex off of Elliott. There gives you an extra 400 to play with if you wanted to. And maybe, if you didn't want to go the Corey LaJoy chalk, go the Gilliland chalk. I'm gonna roll with this as the last lineup here. Truex, Chastain, Reddick, Harvick, Stenhouse, Billy Gang. So yeah, there's the lineups that I'm rolling with today in the Chrome Horn. Any more questions? I'll stay on here for about a minute longer if there's any more questions. Ownership wise, for those 20 lineups that I just built on stream, 100% Harvick, which I know is dumb, but when it's a $4 contest, I'll do it. 100% Harvick, 75% LaJoy, 65% Chastain, 55% Larson, 45% Hamlin, 40% Kyle Busch, 35% Truex, 30% Haley, 25% Stenhouse, 20% Chase Elliott. So I'm going under by about half of what I'm projecting on Chase. Cole Custer, man, I don't have any Cole Custer, I don't think. I'd obviously have exposure, when I put my 150 in, I'm going to have Cole Custer exposure. You have to with him starting 28th, but it's not going to be much. Don't have him projected super high. This isn't a great racetrack for him. It's kind of average. I'd rather go down to Haley and be a little bit heavier on there. So I don't hate the Custer play. I'm just not there today. Good luck to everybody as well. Any questions or anything, tweet at me. I'll be around building lineups for the next probably hour or so. Yeah, and make sure you join my DraftKings contest today. Looks like there's 46 people in there, so still got spots open, plenty of spots open. So, yeah. Good luck to everybody today. Enjoy the race. Happy Mother's Day. See ya.